Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Wednesday, the 13th of Feb. All right, now we've found ourselves in a slight midweek US dollar pause. Now, this is no surprise. The currencies never really go up and down in a straight line, even when they're aggressively trending. We don't have any major central bank stuff at the moment. So, yeah, these currencies are still in a progress of current trends. And I'm still looking at the euro. This has been the best trending pair. You know what? And it's just come back and testing perfectly that resistance line. And this is where I've got short here myself at 32. I think it's a good level to get short. And the euro was a little bit overbought there. It's now starting to drift back into the range. But the Aussie, look at these other pairs. They're all acting pretty similar. Like Aussie and Kiwi have run out of momentum, right? Where the euro seems to be getting a bit more of a push from the dollar index. But today we do have the RBNZ, so the Kiwi is going to be front line and centre. And I'll run through that shortly. It's just over an hour, right? We're going to see exactly what the RBNZ's got for us. I wouldn't be surprised if they did exactly the same as the Aussie, as the RBA, and suggested they were on hold. I mean, looking for a cut, and we could see a lower. Dollar yen slowly cruising to the top side, just doing it, minding its own business. Sterling, well, it is lower, but look at these little injections here and there. So it's Brexit, uncertainty, the fundamental numbers from the other day were weak, the GDP numbers, etc. The manufacturing production numbers were crap. But you know what? We've got CPI data today, so it's going to be another chance to have a look what's going on in the UK now. If inflation drops off, which it hasn't been, then we may see a good trade to the downside on these numbers. And it just shows you that, you know what, things aren't so groovy in the UK that they looked before the Christmas, New Year break. Now, just looking at oil, oil, dollar CAD, well, oil's back at $53. To me, it's just trading sideways. Chance for a range trade. I see Timmy's lock one of those in. So that's where we are at the moment. You're just following the currencies, and don't get afraid that the major currencies are back testing levels. This is good. This gives us entry levels, okay? Now, the Kiwi, yeah, we've got the RBNZ, and dollar yen isn't really anywhere close. I'm not really into, I'm looking for sort of more serious direction out of dollar CAD, but at this point, to me, it's trading sideways, and we've got the UK CPI, so we'll work out what's going on here. Now, let's just have a look across here, what impact that's having on the US dollar index. Well, as you'd expect, and don't get caught up in all the hysteria of the media. I can't even believe, 8 days was the longest rally since 2017 in the US dollar. That just seems ludicrous. So, of course, it was overdue a pullback. It is now testing support on the index just above 96.60. This obviously coincides with that move back higher in euros. So, something's got to give. It either holds and continues higher or not. And today we have the US CPI data. So, if this data is released, which I believe it's going to be, then strong numbers there. The US dollar is going to go through the roof. You'd expect euro to come off again. Now, dollar China, there's little snippets coming out from some US aides about the US-Chinese trade talks coming up. There was some Chinese weakness. Now it's come into a bit of strength. I don't know what's going on here with the offshore yuan, dollar yuan, but, it's just drifting around. There's a pretty close correlation here between some of the short-term moves on the dollar index and the dollar yuan. So just keep an eye on that as you go forward. Now, global growth, well, you know what? Seems like everything's okay on the global growth sort of spectrum. US equities up sort of 1.5%. The Asian equities slightly up, but a sea of green, which suggests, risk on. That's where you get a little bit of Aussie buying, etc. Now, just the news, just to put you through the various bits of news. There's not a hell of a lot coming out today, so just want to sort of tick off a few boxes. Risk appetite returns, dollar rally ends as trade talks progress. Now, they're just clutching at straws here. There's not much to write about at the moment. Trump is over here doing his own war dance in the US, politics at its worst, still trying to build this wall along the Mexican border. I don't know what the hell that's all about. And then you got, we're still waiting for the UK, Brexit, PM May's getting pushed around. It's the same old stuff. What we need is fresh information. And that's what we're going to get today with the release of the UK. Well, it actually starts, sorry, I should say, it starts with the RBNZ. Okay, if I just get that pen on. RBNZ cash rate, this is going to be pretty important. No change expected. So we're going to be looking at the statement, I would suspect, for some sort of updates there on the Kiwi. Now, CPI numbers out of the US, obviously a massive number. Inflation, employment, they're the two sort of main indicators they're looking at. The Fed, the Fed, we've got the US CPI coming out as well, but the Bank of England. So, as I said, the recent numbers in the UK have been weak. So, look at the numbers here. They're expecting month on month minus 0.7%. So, keep an eye on the max and minimum here. If we get a CPI below 1%, this means like everything's fallen off the wheels in the UK. Even with Brexit, random news coming out, you're probably looking to get short on that anyway. Okay, so that's going to be interesting as it sort of plays out from here. Now, and then you've got, you run down into the US session. As I mentioned, we do have US CPI numbers now. This would be such a huge event, usually. I don't see a hell of a lot being written about it. So I hope the numbers are coming out. They should be. So if they do, we'll get some movement in the US dollar, that's for sure. And that's where we are at the moment, guys. So when you come back to the, say, MyFX Trading Hub, and you're trying to piece together where the opportunities are, now don't forget, you've got the major currency pair outlook. To me, it hasn't really changed from yesterday. I know the US dollar's paused at the moment, but overall, it's just a slight pullback. So don't think the US dollar's falling at this stage. It's not yet. Okay, that's where the US CPI numbers will come in. So to me, trading conditions are still pretty good. The major events to watch out for over the next, 24 hours, RBNZ interest rate decision. Don't forget the statement's going to be the key to that. Then you've got the UK CPI. Now this is, even with Brexit, as I said, because of the backdrop of those numbers we had last week, or early in the week, what day is it? Wednesday, last week. That gives us a real bias to the downside. So if this comes out weak again, it builds up the story for, even if Brexit comes out, maybe flipping over to potential rate cuts. Or if they don't get a deal, this could be really, the UK economy is already slowing or stalling or going negative. This could be really the start of the end for the UK economy. Now, US CPI, well, that's just going to give us a bit of a heads up on what's going on. Now, the Fed have done a great job, Jerome Powell. It's just churning away. They are at the moment just paused, waiting for the data. And this is all we're looking for. So that gives us a really good backdrop there for the US dollar as well. If we get some sort of, if the numbers do come out and we do get some variance on those numbers, I'd be trading with it. The top side, definitely where the momentum is at the moment. So strong numbers to me, you buy US dollars and sell everything else. And actually with that, you could get the 1-2 combination here where you get really weak UK CPI numbers and really strong US numbers. We could see sterling 200-300 points lower tomorrow, right? That's the difference. Of course, you could get the other way around. You could get strong UK CPI and weak US, and it's 100 points higher. So just be aware, this is it's going to be action stations in the European North American sessions. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see what the RBNZ says following the RBA slightly dovish comments last week. All right, guys, that's it from me. There's plenty of activity in the 247 trade zone. Don't forget, you can come down, scroll down, members, and come through the next best trade watch list. I'm currently short the euro. Might be worth checking out. And for those looking to get into the RBNZ, go to the source, right? Go to the RBNZ page, get the statement up and get ready to read it, because it's released on the internet at the same time it is on the Reuters and Bloomberg. So you can actually read it at the same time as everyone else. All right, take control of your trading decisions. All right, that's it from me, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you in the 247 trade zone. Cheerio.